Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to another episode of Artist Interview here in Mundo Deep, the channel where we talk about music, artists, and wellness, and just everything about being. I am DomingaMusic and Socials. I'm an artist, songwriter, hypnotherapist, and performance coach. And here in the channel, we have every month the gift of sharing with a particular artist. And for today, I have the pleasure to present you to this very multifaceted, talented artist. I loved getting to learn from all the multiple talents and facets and achievements while researching about you. Fernando Vives, Nundo, the Vros, the Johow Digital label. For starters, I wanted to learn, how would you like me to refer to you in this interview?
Fernando.
Fernando, beautiful. I love it, amigo. I have so much gratitude, joy, and admiration for everything that you've done. We're gonna get into that in a bit, but I just wanted to really take the time to extend my energy and appreciation to you. I am so proud of how committed, yes, committed you are to your art and yourself. Because amigo, since I met you, Fernando, you have this vibe, this energy that is not just of a person who's done a lot of work outside, but a person who's done a lot of work within. What a vibe, amigo.
Thank you so much, Tommy. You too, you have a beautiful vibe.
Thank you. I love starting this channel to tell the unique story about people. So every individual, every artist, it's unique. Let's learn about this Fernando, this Fernandito. Where did you grow up? Who did you grow up with? I want to learn, how did you grew into this path of art? And Fernando, what was the environment while you were growing up till, let's say, 12 years old?
Yeah, for sure. So my story basically began when my parents moved to the United States when they just got married. And we're four siblings in total. I'm the youngest one, and I was born in Connecticut.
Oh,
Yeah,
East Coast.
I just lived there for 1 year, so I don't really remember anything.
Mhm.
But still, I was born over there, and then we moved back to Chile back in 1993 or 92, something like that. So basically, I was raised in Chile, and I'm really grateful because I mean, my parents, they love music. They play the guitar, just like a hobby, nothing like special. Uh, but they always were listening to music and stuff like that. And I remember when I was 4 years old for Christmas, I received my first drum kit, and it was like a super special thing because starting from that point. And I have had this conversation with my brothers that we think that at that point, music and instruments starting to being in our house. So since 4 years old, I started playing the drums, and it was pretty nice. And I think it was in 1998, so I was like 7 years old. Yeah.
Okay,
Um,
okay. Mhm.
my dad give to my I think it was like a family present. They gave us like a real drum kit, because the one that I received when I was four, of course, it was like a small one. It
Like a
was just
play drum kit. Okay.
exactly just like one tom, one kick, hi-hat, and snare, super simple. But I remember that in 1998 we got our first really big drum kit, and it was super nice because it was huge and everyone was really happy. And around at that same time, my other brother Juan,
Mhm.
he bought his first guitar. So basically, like we had like the guitar and we have the drums. So there was like a time that we were started like playing the guitar and the drum kit. And so that's kind of like the vibe that it was in my house, a lot of like music and instruments. And then
Well,
when I remember as well that when we were in Chile, we moved in different houses, and there was one in specifically that it was like the one that I lived like for the most of my childhood.
mhm.
I don't know what year was it, but anyway, we had like this room, sorry, that basically was like a rehearsal room. So at that time, like my brothers like started like inviting friends, and like more musicians started like began to play music in my house. Then my brother Francisco, that he's the oldest one,
Okay, Francisco.
when he was 18, he started like studying music. So he's a composer. So
Mhm.
at that time was kind of like the same thing. So all of like his classmates and friends started to go to my house because basically we had a place to rehearsal. So it's not really common to have a place where you can
Mm,
play music
it's
and nobody's gonna complain.
it's special.
So yeah, so like I said, we're four brothers. The oldest one is Francisco. He's a composer.
Francisco, you mentioned him.
Yeah,
What's the second one, Juan?
yeah. But he plays the piano and he plays the drums. Then the second one is Juan, that he was playing guitar at that time. Then the third one is Cristobal, that he plays the drums as well. And then it's me that I play the drums as well. So
Wait,
the,
wait. Do you
the
play?
three
I
of
think you play the keyboards too, amigo.
I mean, but I'm talking about like around that time. I'm talking
Okay,
about like my
like
childhood. Yeah, exactly.
perfect.
So like around like 2000, yeah, right, 2000, let's say 2000, when I was like 10 years old, that was kind of like the family band. Like three of us, we were playing the drums and just one was playing the guitar. Um, so basically that was kind of like I remember like every weekend different
Wow,
bands went to my
that's
house.
exciting
It was
to
super
grow up
exciting.
with
Yeah,
musicians and bands.
all the time. Yeah, it was super fun. So I'm really like grateful to have that kind of childhood because
And
it was
all
the weekend
guys,
bands,
a
music.
a
Yeah,
boy
exactly.
band. I think
A
this is a
boy
boy
band.
band.
Yeah.
So wait, what was I imagine there's like a lot in different styles, but what was like the first music you were listening to when you were growing that your caregivers, I want to say, were like listening around you? And what was
Um.
giving to you?
So I mean, of course, like the first like music that I remember is like my parents' music. So super like 80s stuff or 70s. I know that my dad, he's a huge fan of like Phil Collins
Oh
and
yeah,
like
I love
Michael Jackson and the Eagles, and that's like the thing that I can remember at the beginning. But then I remember the first time that I got my first tape or cassette
it.
actually.
Okay, do you remember what was it about?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was Chancho en Piedra, this Chilean
At what
band.
age was that? Do you remember?
Oof.
Ni idea.
Yeah, maybe 8 or 9.
Whoa, that's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, those cassettes, dude. They're like
yeah.
part of
But
our
yeah,
like
so basically
brains.
I mean at the beginning I was really into like rock music. I remember like my first like favorite band was Linkin Park. That's kind of like the first band that I was
Um,
like, oh
did
my
you get
God.
to see them in their like current tour?
Yeah, yep, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's Christian's like dream rock music. So that's like more like, would you call it like Cali punk, pop rock kind of thing?
Yeah, Limp Bizkit was another
Mm.
one. So
Oh,
those like were like the first like bands for like music or CDs that I actually like started like purchasing, and it was super nice.
I love it. Were you from the era where you would like download music?
Yeah, I remember the first time that we downloaded like a song at my house.
What were
It
you
was
downloading?
yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
know.
because
Yeah.
we were all together with my brothers, and my brother was like, "Hey, so look like what we can do now because before it was impossible, of course, to get like music for free." And
Mm.
I remember that we downloaded Napster, and we downloaded like this Metallica song. I don't maybe it was a Metallica song. I don't know if I remember which one was it,
Interesting.
but it was like, oh my God, like it was so fast and so easy. So yeah, I remember like Napster. I think I never used it because kind of like I was not really allowed to use the computer a lot of time. It was kind of like
Oh, interesting.
a rule of my house. Yeah,
What was
because
the rule? I
I
want to
mean my
know.
parents they didn't like allow me to use the computer a lot because they wanted me to like do other stuff, play with like
To
other kids or
to be
so.
kid.
Yeah.
To
But of
be
course, if like some of my other brothers that were using it, I was like always looking. And
Yeah, interesting. What can we find in the internet?
exactly.
Music. I love it. What about like the music you would listen to by yourself?
Yeah, so like I said, like at the beginning, I was really into like that kind of like rock and punk.
Yeah,
Um,
we love it.
and then yeah, I mean, I was like this uh, emo kid, emo. So when I was like 14 or 15, I started to like listening to a lot of like hardcore and like screamo and stuff like
Okay.
that. And
Do
the thing,
you remember any like screamo band? I want to do like a little highlight here. I was
Mhm,
our friend in common, Guille Pinet,
mhm.
he also had a screamo band and he has
Yeah,
shared
yeah, he told me once. Yeah.
what was a band you would like for screamo?
So, my favorite band, it was this band called Under Oath. That is like this
Under?
screamo Christian band. I didn't know that their lyrics were like talking about God and stuff like that. Because at that time I was always, and I think I still do it actually. Every time that I listen to a song, I always listen to like the groove and the drums and the percussion. That's the
Ooh,
first
I'm
thing
gonna
that I'm
write
gonna
that down.
yeah, so I know like other people, I mean, this is what I think. Like if someone plays the bass, I'm pretty sure that person is gonna like listen to the bass, like what the bass is doing in that song. For me, it was always the percussions and the drums. Because
Mm.
what I was doing at that time as well, when I was like 10 to 14, that I was like playing a lot of drums, I always like got like I mean I use my like headphones and just like have the CDs and play it in top of the songs like the drums. So
Okay, so you were
I
playing top
was
of the songs. That was like a way of practicing.
exactly like I knew all of the
Nice.
songs of like Linkin Park, Incubus as well. I was listening to them a lot, so I was always like playing the drums in top of that. Um, so
So
to
this is
answer
like
the
you
to
said
answer the
like 8 to
question,
12? Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah, I don't really remember how old I was. The thing is that I started DJing when I was 13, but that doesn't mean that I stopped like playing the drums. And then I'm gonna tell you that story why I started playing the drums. But what I
Okay.
wanted to say though means that
Mhm.
I lived in the same room with my brother Cristobal, that is the next one.
Mhm.
Um, in the same room, we were sleeping in the same room until I was like 21. So he was like, I mean, all the things that he was doing, I wanted to do as well because he was like my brother. So it was like, oh, he's wearing a blue shirt. Okay, I want to wear a blue shirt.
Blue is the new high
Exactly.
fashion.
So he's a drummer and he started like playing in this band and they were playing hardcore and screamo. So he really
Mhm.
like got me into this music because every night I remember this so funny because every night we're listening to a different band. Like, okay, it's time to sleep. Okay, let's play music. And sometimes we were like listening to this like to this like really like hardcore bands. And I don't know how the fuck I was sleeping because the music was like really, really like metalcore and really like hardcore. So my brother always was like showing me like different bands and different stuff. And of course, I was like a huge fan of his band that it was called Nada Especial. So all the
Nice.
concerts and all the shows that they did, I went to all of them. So it was super nice because it was like basically it's kind of like my first like concert where like this little things in like different bars in Santiago
They would
downtown.
allow you to get in even though you were like underage?
Because I
I'm
mean
with
my
the
brother at
artist.
that time he was like 16 or 17. He was like really like young as well.
Yeah.
He was still in school. So it was super nice. It was a super nice era of my time. I remember that. So
I love it.
I don't, so like I said, like my favorite band of like this hardcore screamo band, it was Under Oath that, like I said, they were singing, or they were like, the lyrics is about like God and Christian and stuff like that. But I was always listening to the drums. Then I figured it out. I was like, holy shit, like they were always singing to like God. But
Do
still,
you
like the
feel
lyrics,
God in your heart?
yeah. So still the lyrics are super good. And
Amigo,
all
I
the
just
singers.
learned something new. Like I didn't know screamo lyrics were mostly about like Christian topics.
Not
Very.
all of them, not all of them, not all
Oh,
of them.
this
But this
bands.
band, yeah, this band specifically, yeah, they are.
Whoa. I love this nights like where you were like listening to music. I mean, that already sounds like a habit that every like serious committed musician I think should do, like listening to new music. Would you guys like just enjoy it, like jam to it? I know you were focused on the drums as you said, or
Mhm.
would you like chat with your like brother, like, oh, I like this part. I wonder how they did it. Would you like reflect on like some type of like theory or
Yeah,
lyrics?
yeah. I mean, for me, Cristobal, he was like, and still like today, he's like my best friend and best like, I would not say best brother because I love all of my brothers, but he was like at the beginning of like I said, we were like, of course, I lived with all of
Closer
my brothers
ages. Yeah.
close in
Mhm.
ages, and we were sleeping in the same room, and we were like listening to the same music at the same time. Um, so
How old
every
is
time, like,
your sorry, I cut you off there. What's the age difference between you
it's
guys?
4 years. He's like four
Okay.
years older than me.
Okay.
Yeah, so still it's a, I mean, it's not a huge difference, but still it's a big difference.
Yeah, still is like an older brother, not just like same age
I
brother.
mean, at that same time, the Francisco and Juan, I was not really like talking with them a lot. I mean, of course, they were my brothers, but we're not really like. I mean, I was super young at that time. When you're 18, you don't really talk with someone that is like 9 years. With Francisco, we're 9 years apart, so it's like that's a lot of like difference. And with Juan, we're eight. Sorry.
Oh, okay. So Juan is like pretty close to Francisco.
Yeah,
That's
and
cool.
of
This is
course.
a cool little crew of little boy bands with the two and two going on there.
Yeah. Hmm.
I love it. Amigo, I
Yeah.
love this. Okay, so I you said maybe your parents is not special. They played nothing special on the guitar. Please let me tell you that the fact that your parents played instrument, it's already special. At least in my eyes. That's so cool.
Oh
I
yeah, of
love
course it is a special. Yeah.
they
I mean, what was I was trying to say is
gift
that they
you
were not like
a drum kit.
touring. Yeah, right. And actually, yeah.
I love that. So so just catching up, like you have this, then you had like the Phil Collins and like 80s rock, like growing
Yeah.
up. In my house there was a lot of Phil Collins too. Then you like started like the downlist and you had like the experience of the musicians they were coming to your house. And if your brother's a composer, I would imagine it's not just like the other songs you were downloading, like the rock and punk. It was like probably like a whole diversity of music.
Hmm.
I love that you started going to live shows since you were very little. I
Super young. Yeah.
so like
Just like 12 or 13. Yeah.
I find so much value. Some things that are not even like speakable, we can say, that are
Mm.
like underneath the technical stuff we can talk, that it's just observable. So I love that you had the choice and the chance to start going to little gigs. I always think in Chile, I mean, I'm like, this sucks. Like this amazing musician is playing, and I want to invite my brother, and he's like underage. Like, what the freak? Like, kids should come to these things.
Mm.
I mean, of hopefully in like a safe environment. I find so interesting also that you start playing with your brothers, that you're like listening to this music, listening to the drums. That takes me a lot maybe to your DJ like days. I want to learn a bit like how do you get into DJ? Um, a little bit how you get into, and I also like want to know, amigo, what's the music you're enjoying nowadays? Like what are the artists you are listening to?
Hmm. Okay, let's start with the DJing thing first because it's a kind of, I mean, not a long story, but
Let's
um
like we can hear the story. This is what we're here for.
yeah. So basically, okay, when I was around 12 and 13, I remember that on one of like my mom's trip to Argentina, she went to Argentina, and they were, I mean, of course, my parents, they already like knew that we loved music and we were always like listening to music. And on one of like her trip, she got me like this various artists of like this electronic DJ mix of like this DJ. I don't really remember like what label was or whatever,
Mhm.
but it was like this music that I was like never like, oh, like what is this? You know, like never like heard of this like sounds or type of music. And it was super cool. And it was like, oh, I really like this. I never bought like electronic or like house or techno, whatever CD. I was always like, and I still was like doing in the rock music. But I remember that that my mom got me like this CD, and it was like, oh, this is super nice. And then I think with that kind of like talking with my classmates and friends, we were talking about like this music, and it was super fun. And the thing is that around that age, I was really good playing the
What
drums.
was the age again?
Like around 12 or 13,
Okay.
like eighth grade, seventh
Mhm.
and eighth grade. Um,
Okay, perfect. Eighth grade, the time when we start partying.
Yeah, exactly. So
Seventh grade.
yeah, I think it was more seventh grade actually. It was in seventh grade. Yeah, so when I
Hmm.
was 12. So none of like my classmates, none of them they were like playing any instruments. And we had music in our school. You know, like for people that maybe is gonna listen to this in Chile, is only one school. I went to the same school for 12 years, so of course
¿Qué
all of
colegio
my
fuiste?
Apoquindo.
La Boquino. So, and you had like music lessons there, but
We
what?
had music
But
lessons,
people
and
didn't play
actually
instruments?
I learned. I mean, I was playing the flute at the beginning, and then
De
like
metalófono.
yeah, I know. And then I got really good into the guitar. I was playing the guitar a lot. But anyway, so at that time I was like, damn, I'm playing the drums. I'm really good playing the drums, but I'm tired of like playing in top of like the music that I've been
Mm.
playing for a long of time, like all of like the CDs of Linkin Park or Limp Bizkit or whatever. I was playing in top of that. But now I want to play with a band because all of my other brothers, they have their band, and I'm the only one that I cannot like play with friends. And I don't I mean maybe there was a time that I invited like some friends and was tried to do something and didn't really work. So I was kind of like frustrated because I know and I was really good playing the drums, but no one wants to play with me. It was not because like no one like liked me, it was
Yeah,
just
I
because
feel
I
you. It's
didn't know
like
like anybody who plays other instruments.
that wasn't the
So it was
same
like,
plan, the
yeah.
same gang.
So with my best friends, I remember this exactly. It was like with my one of my best friend school and other two guys, we were talking about blah 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 and talking about like this music as well, this electronic music that I told my friends like, oh, I got this CD, like look, it's super nice music. And one of my friends said like, oh, you know, like my brother, he's selling like this mixer. And I was like, what is a mixer? You
What
know,
is a
like
mixer?
like this DJ mixer where you can play one song to another one. And then with my best friend, we really like we got like really into like, okay, let's like do some research on what is this. And then kind of like we discovered like this like art or this thing that is instead of like playing an instrument, you can mix the music like one song to another song. So with all of my friends said like, okay, let's like save a little bit of money and get this mixer. That one
So
of
it
like
was a team effort.
what?
It was a team effort to buy the mixer.
Yeah, exactly. And we were four. So
I
we kind of
love
like, okay,
this.
let's do it, blah blah blah, and then like kind of like suddenly my two other friends they said like, no, you know what, we don't want to do this, like so they just like they didn't want to purchase the mixer. And with my other friend, with Jorge, that he's my one of my best friends, we said like, no, you know, like let me ask my dad and see if like for my birthday he can get me a DJ mixer.
Please.
So that was the case. We got like he got this like DJ mixer, and we started like mixing together.
What was
So
the name of your friend again?
Jorge.
Jorge. Okay, so with
Yeah.
Jorge, you
Yeah, with
started
Jorge we
DJing music.
started and we were like really good friends. Like every weekend we were like together because we were playing like video games and stuff like that. So we were like chatting every weekend.
Hanging out.
So, and he was like really good like with computers. He knew a lot. So basically he said like, dude, I got the mixer and with my laptop, I think at that time he got a laptop. Yeah, with my laptop, we can just like start mixing and like play music. And it was like, no way, let's do it. So when I was 12, we started like seventh grade. Yeah, we started like understanding like this art. And it was super nice because Jorge's cousin, he was a super DJ as well. He was like playing a lot at that time. So he taught us a lot. He actually he like I think we purchased our first speakers from him and
Mentor
and
number one.
yeah. So at that time like suddenly we were like DJing, and I remember that instead of like playing video games at his house, now we were just like practicing and getting like music and understanding this art. And Matias, that is the name of Jorge Cousins, he taught us like a lot of like, okay, like this is the cable, this is an amplifier, this is the speakers. And
Bless
we
you, Matias.
yeah, bless you, Matias. And we started actually going to different parties that Matia was like playing
Playing.
music. Yeah,
Mhm.
so he like we learned a lot from
So
him.
you guys were like on top of like the mixer,
Yeah,
like, oh, what are you
yeah,
doing, kind of
all the
thing?
time. Yeah, I remember the
Like shadowing.
graduation party of so my school was women and men. So at the woman graduation, Matthias played at that party, and I went to that party, eighth grade.
Oh, the
Um,
girls.
ex exactly.
Exactly.
And he was DJing, and instead
And
of
you
like
saw the power of music on the
and I
girls.
was all the time, no, not really. I was like all the time, like looking at this guy, like what is he doing? Like why he used that effects in his. So
F the girls. I'm focusing on Matias. I love
I
it.
was not focusing on the girls, like not at all. So yeah, so Matthias is a super like as well like important character of like my life or this story of DJing because I learned a lot with him, a lot. So
Bless
yeah,
you, Matias. My old
so
memories.
and of course like with Jorge as well, he kind of like purchased all of like the necessary things to start like DJing. So I always was really grateful with his dad because his dad was like I said, like he
Your
purchased
first
a
investor.
computer.
That.
Yeah, my first, yeah, my best investor. So yeah, I mean, so seventh grade, like I said, I learned about this like this magic thing, this magical thing, this art of DJing. I remember as well that I saw this video of Fatboy Slim playing in
Mhm.
New York in this huge party, and I was like, holy shit, like look what this guy is doing, like playing this music, and he was playing with records with
Like
turntable.
scratch and
Yeah.
like the streets,
I don't
like
think he
that kind
was
of stuff.
really I don't think he was really scratching, but basically I saw what he was like doing, like people listen to this music and dancing to this music. So yeah, seventh grade and eighth grade. So when I was 14, yeah,
Yeah,
because you're
13,
yeah,
14.
13, yeah. I was 12 because when I learned about like the DJing, so I was 12 at the beginning of that of seventh grade. So seventh grade and eighth grade was like the year where I was like really into like this thing of like DJing of like what is this? Like, oh, I want to like audio musica, that is this
Audio
Chilean
music. Audio
store
music.
or and they were like selling like different so it was like super fun. And when I was 14, or I don't remember if it was 13 or 14, I always said it was 13 because I think it was at the beginning of eighth grade. uh, we had our first gig with my
Woo!
friend
I was
Jorge.
gonna ask you about that. I was like, when is the first gig coming?
Yeah. I mean, I don't
What was
remember.
it about it?
Tommy,
Like,
I
what
don't
was the
know. I don't know
contest?
if it was in seventh grade, at the end of seventh grade, or was at the beginning of eighth
Mhm.
grade, but let's say it was like around that time. It was basically like a celebration. It's called Bodas de Oro. I don't know what's the name in
I understand. But as a golden
it's like
wedding, golden
golden
weds, when you turn like 50 years, I
beef.
think.
Exactly.
Damn.
I don't know. I
Damn.
don't know what's the English name of that. But yeah, 50 years of celebrating of
Very,
marriage.
very
So
time.
imagine what kind of
Like
music
of
was
someone else or like
of like
who's
one of like Jorge uncles, I
okay,
think,
perfect. Okay.
or yeah, something like
Abuelo, uncle abuelo.
yeah, it was like someone like close to his family or something like that. They needed a DJ, and of course, Jorge's dad, he knew that we were like doing this. So he said like, hey, like my
See,
son,
Jorge's dad, dude, the investor, I'm telling you.
yeah.
He's like
So we had our
managing, pitching
first
your
gig, and it
gig.
was like super fun. I remember that week of like looking for new music, and Matthias, like I said, he was super important. He gave us like this huge folder of like a lot of like MP3s. So I remember that, okay, we're gonna play at this
Gig. Yeah.
celebration. So I need to start like organizing my music and creating like the playlist for this. So yeah, that was our first gig. And basically
How'd
as
it
well,
go?
I think people had fun. Like people, I got like this like memories of like people dancing like salsa and like bachata or merengue or like whatever like that type of music was. Of course we were like super young. I mean,
You're
if
like,
they
it's a
ask me like,
success.
hey, like can you play like anything like from the 80s or 70s? I don't think I really knew what was that at that time.
Phil Collins. I like some Phil Collins. Beatles.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. And so those are so I know, and we're gonna talk about that too. Like you're on tour now, but so this is the start of like that gig. You started with a gig and you're playing diversity. You're saying like merengue and like salsa and
Yeah.
80s and 70s music. Interesting. Okay. What about like so remember the beginning of the question? It was like from there when you started to like what are you listening today? What are you enjoying? What's Fernando enjoying
Mm,
today?
I mean, a huge part of like DJing is, I mean, people, I mean, this is what I think,
Yeah.
but a DJ mostly is it's not always about like DJing. I mean, a gig or a show can be 1 hour, 60 minutes, or 90 minutes, or
Mm.
maybe 2 hours, or it can be like 5 hours. Of course, it's gonna depend. But let's say it's like 90 minutes is like the common show of a DJ. Um, there's a lot of like things that people don't actually see about what a DJing is doing before the gig.
Mm.
So
What
for
is
me,
this?
mostly of the time, I'm looking for new music to DJing, right? So I played house music or electronic music. So I'm always like looking for tracks or music or records that I want to purchase. So mostly of the time that I'm listening to music, it's gonna be electronic music. That
Correct.
doesn't mean that I'm always listening to electronic music or it's the only thing
Like
I listen
window
to.
shopping music on the vinyl stores kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but still you can do that over the internet that today. You don't really need to go to a record store. Of course, going to a record store, it's much funny and you're gonna have a lot of fun
Yeah.
rather
More
than just go.
curated, we can say.
Yeah. I mean, this website that is basically called Discogs, they have like almost like all of the records collection. And if you like a song or a record, it's gonna show you the sellers so you can purchase the record from these different sellers. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is that mostly of my time I'm listening to house music or electronic music. So, and that takes me a lot of time because a
Can I
house
ask?
be like 7 minutes. I'm not always listening to the entire song, but
Mhm.
still like I listen to like 3 minutes or 4 minutes of the track.
To understand the journey, I guess, of like the song where it's taking you.
Take me a lot of time to like
Mm.
go and shopping this like you said like music. So if I'm not doing that, that you have to think that of times sometimes I don't want to listen to music. I want to like be in silence.
Silence. I want to listen to myself. Like,
That always like punchy punchy. So if I want to do different stuff, I really like funky stuff like 70s or 80s. I really like still like rock and roll or like
yeah.
hardcore music or like rock and jazz as well. Sometimes I like to listen to like classical music. It's always gonna depend on the
In
mood.
the mood. Yeah. Can I ask you a little bit?
Okay, so
Also, can you repeat that? I cut you off, I think, there.
yes, it's gonna depend on my mood, on like what I want to do right now. If I want to
I
chill,
feel you.
I'm my own DJ. That's the thing that I'm trying to say. So it could be whatever.
Funky stuff. What did you listen to? The last funky like track you listened to?
I mean, I can tell the name. So well,
Okay.
that thing, since I'm always like listening to like
Yeah,
music,
it can be something.
it's really hard to me to remember all of the songs. But I found this like song that I'm gonna tell you the name right away.
Yeah.
Uh, Yeah, it's from Brandy Wells. What Out? That's the name.
Okay. What about rock and roll? What's the last like rock and roll track you've been
That's rock
listening,
and
or
roll.
artist or band or album?
So I mean, it's since like you said, I'm on tour right now. So mostly like the music that I've been listening like
What are you
this
gonna play?
couple of weeks, it's been like house music, and since still I'm going to clubs and I was like doing some like network and stuff like that. I haven't been like listening to a lot of like different music this last 3 weeks, let's say. The only different thing that I've been listening to it is
Mhm.
meditation music.
¿Cómo?
Meditation music.
Meditation. Yeah, we are in the right place. Meditation music.
All different kind of music that I've been listening this like I said 3 weeks.
I love
Um,
that. Like frequencies, or would you? This is like meditation giggy stuff. Like kind of like, do you like hertz or the things with like instruments?
I mean, I mean, we can go really about like frequencies and
Yeah.
vibrations. Music itself is a well a lot of frequencies and vibrations. Um, but yeah, answering your question, yeah, I mean, I'm always like listening to this like different frequencies. I use YouTube.
Yeah, me
You
too.
always to me like if you go to my YouTube, it's super fun because it's all about meditation music and music for your soul, music to be happy.
Ooh, I think this takes me to another question I want to make you because I was reading through your bio and I'm gonna quote. I wanted to read this. It says, Nondo
Mhm.
likes to call his DJ sets music for your soul. Music for the soul. Let's talk about this, please.
Yeah, so I like to call my sets like that because, and I wanted to use that term because I like soul music as well. Soul music
Mm.
is comes like from like funky and R&B. So basically what I'm trying to say with that is music like to like okay, it's more happy. With electronic music you can go like really like go
Dark.
underground or like not really like I mean it could be like yeah like I said like dark for me it's the opposite in my sets I like to be like no like let's celebrate life, let's celebrate that we are together, that we can dance, that we can smile and we can like move our bodies and be like grateful of that because not everyone can do that as well.
It's a privilege for sure. Amigo,
Grateful.
I want I cut you off there. I wanted to ask you, okay, so celebrate, smile, dance, grateful. Yes. Do you today have any like idea of how like practical in like practical terms we achieve this of like moving someone to smile to dance? Is it like a stereo sound? Is it a filter? Is it an EQ? Is it how you're placed in the stage? I don't know. Do you have any insight into this? How we move the soul somebody else?
I mean, for me, DJing is kind of like this therapy that I'm like giving you music, I'm giving you my energy as well. Because when you're DJing, you're really showing your energy because everyone is like looking at you. It's like, oh, what is this guy's doing? I always say to my students, if you're DJing and you're not looking to the crowd, you're not looking to like what people is doing, and you're just like focusing on what you're doing, people is not gonna have a good time because you need to like move, like improve like your body as well. Kind of like what I'm trying to say is like you need to be like that this like person that is like, hey, this is what I'm doing. I'm showing you like this music. I'm showing this like beautiful thing that is called music because it's about the music. It's not about me. It's the music that I'm like choosing or I'm playing for you in order to move your body and have a good time. And movement is kind of like this beautiful thing that it's like 100% sure that it's gonna like give you happiness and it's gonna like or like you're gonna forget all of like the troubles or the problems that you're like having at that time. And it's like this therapy, this meditation of dancing and be okay, like be with yourself. Like I don't really care what the rest of the people is doing. I just like want to dance and feel the music and move my body, move my cells, move like all of the things that I have in me in order to like, oof, like, okay, let's like let it be, just like release all of that tension that I was like having in that day or whatever. That's like kind of like what I like to be, or like what I really like to enjoy of being a DJing is that I'm giving this like powerful thing that it's music in order to you to move your body and be like, okay, like things can be better, always can be better.
To purge, to breathe, basically.
Yeah.
I totally feel you, Amigo. And I agree that music and dance is a therapy. I would take myself on self dates. And every Friday I would go dancing, sometimes to a feria club. Sometimes they're like in Baquedano, I don't know, but that was a meditation. It was like I go by myself, I love clubbing to myself, listen to the music that I like. I go, it's a connection with my body, and I'm dancing. And so it's since it's just by myself, and I'm like, I'm not like concerned about someone else, you know. Then you have this like exercise that you're like there, and then when you start like getting like outside of yourself, like, oh, how are these people perceiving me? Am I like, and like every time like my mind would drift, I would like like here we're with the cells, we're like dancing. And it was just such a pleasure. I haven't done it in a while actually, but I
Yeah,
recommend it to anyone. That's when you would see me actually. They're like at your gigs.
I remember exactly that those two gigs in La Feria and in Nebulosa in on a
Nebulosa.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I love it. So just like briefing back to what we say, we're talking about you wanting to like touch people's soul with the music and just bring AKA music therapy to the world for people to shake their cells, their stress away, their worries. Then when we shake it out, what are we left with but soul? I thank
Everyone
you. I mean,
has their own like soul. So it's not about the body. It's not about like if you're big or small or
mhm.
fat or skinny. It's about your soul. So that's why I use that word. It's like I want to make your soul happy. What you really are. You really like the soul, just like
What?
soul feel better. And how you can do that? Using the movement of your body. That the only person that can move your body, it's yourself, right?
Using the movement of your body. I
Um,
love it. It's interesting. Before you talked about like you were said to your student, like improving your your body. And I felt you were saying like your energy body somehow, like improve your energy body where like you're DJing and like you're performing. Would you agree somehow with that word, or does it resonate?
Yeah.
Like energy body? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like dancing as well. Like there's so many DJs that I mean, there's a friend that she says like, do not trust a DJ that doesn't dance when that person is like DJ. Like, do not trust. I don't know how she said it, but she was like, do not trust a DJ that doesn't dance, basically.
That's not okay.
Yeah, I mean
He has, what is he up to? Like if he's not enjoying, like what do you want? What do you want?
I mean that's like the art of DJing, guys. I think. I mean, the first DJs that were like playing music in order to dance, not to like.
To celebrate, yeah.
I mean, yeah, to celebrate life at the end. I mean, music is a celebration of life. For me, music is a way of celebrating life. That's how it started. It didn't start because like there was like this native guy saying like, "Oh, I wanna be in the VIP of my of my tribe and be the most like cool guy in my tribe because I'm playing music." No, they were just like
There is some of that in the scene for sure.
celebrating life and whatever what they were like looking at the sun or like the moon at that time, that they didn't have anything of what we have right now. So music is about celebrating life, and dancing is kind of like the same thing.
I love it. Celebrating life. Fernando, do you consider yourself an artist? And if so, like when did you start like calling yourself such?
Yeah, I do. But I think everyone is an artist.
Agreed.
Be yeah, I think everyone is an artist in a way that for me, artist is basically right. To be an artist, like okay, I do art. Okay, I kind of like I can create stuff. I can make a decision and create something. Um, and to be creative, it's the same thing as like, oh, today I woke up and instead of like wearing this black shirt, I'm gonna wear this white shirt because it combines better with this blue jeans. So for me, in that case, is that everyone is an artist. Everyone can have like that decision of like what is gonna be better for you. I call myself an artist as well because what I started to do is that I started to like create music in a way that I was like doing this thing that it's called art, music. But I was like, okay, I like this kick sample. I like this snare sample or whatever, and I can put all of this together and I can share this creation that I did to the world. So of
I love
course,
that.
yeah.
That is a whole process of itself, amigo. I need to congratulate you for that. I wanted to ask you a little bit like of what you learned from your experience in the scene about like what have been like the fundamental blocks of building your like Fernando's unique career path. But before that, I wanted to hold a space and I have here a little list to celebrate you, Fernando, for all your freaking achievements, dude. You have your own label. You played huge crowds of more of 10,000 souls. Was that in Creamfields? You being resident DJ at La Feria, which I already told you, but it's definitely my like favorite club in Santiago to go dance and my body and enjoy life. You've been playing huge stages like Lollapalooza, Creamfields, Fernando, Ultra Music, Resistant, Mysteryland. That's like a big list already of huge stages. You've been putting like quality music out there. What you were like just saying, like putting the music out there. And for that, I totally celebrate you. And you through all your trajectory have kept being active in your art and in whatever scene you come to, because now you're in SF and I know you're active there and you're already a resident DJ in a club there. and now you're performing a tour. How do you feel about all this? How do
Oh,
you feel about this?
it's feel that I'm like I'm living the dream. I mean, I'm doing the things that I always like wanted to do when I started, like when this kid Fernando was like playing in this like different gigs back in 2000 with my friend Jorge, that like this birthday parties and stuff like that, and I was like, oh my God, like I really like I'm really like good at doing this, and not because it was my ego, it was because people was telling me like, hey dude, like
You knew.
you really have like a talent on this, and you're like doing super well. So um you asked me before when I started like calling myself an artist.
Mhm.
um I will say that when like and that's like I say we because when we were called to the Ultra Music Festival, that
Was
it
that
was
the
in,
first like big stage?
yeah, that was in Argentina. At that time, I was like, okay, like I can call myself an artist because I've been doing this for a while, and people from other places wanted to like listen want to listen to who is like Fernando. And that time, I was like, okay, I can call really myself an artist.
Interesting. Okay, so you started calling yourself when you get into like your first big stage and recognizing already like all the path like that you've been nourishing this all these years. Okay, I love it. So what about the blocks? So we have the growing in a family of like music, like listening to music, starting DJing with your friend. Is there like another blog beneath like the ultra and the other stages and the things we talked about? What do you think have
I
been
mean,
like
yeah, there's a
experimental for you?
that happened before of like who I am right now at this moment. Because and let's try to do like a long story short thing, because if
Okay.
not too much information. But basically, I started like DJing with my friend Jorge. Um, and I remember when I turned 18, I started like DJing in different like places because now I was like allowed to play in clubs.
Mm.
So
Would you
at that,
book yourself or somebody would come to you and book you?
yeah. So no, I'm always people was like calling me, and so at that time I realized that I was like people was calling me
Mm.
and not my friend Jorge. So at that time I had a talk with my friend Jorge and was like, dude, like it seems that the DJing thing is like really it's fun, but now clubs are calling me to play music, and we don't really need to go and like set up like the speakers and the lights, blah blah blah, because we did that for like 5 or 6 years since
Interesting.
that golden wedding stuff that we had when I was 12 until I was 18. Basically, we just like started like doing our own company and had like we started like purchasing speakers and lights. I remember that there was like some weekends that we had 4 events, and we
Like
started like
production
different
company.
deals like help us, and we made good money. So at that time, I told my friend like, dude, like do we really want to do this? If not, like let me just like follow my path of like being a DJ. And of course my friend understood like right away. He already knew that I was like doing super fine as DJing. He was like more the business guy and the guy that was like doing other stuff, and I was like the music guy. So we would just like, okay, let's separate. Here's like the money that you own of like all
Mm-hmm.
the things you
Of our
did.
investments. Mhm.
Yeah. And with that money, I remember that I got my first laptop, and with that laptop, I started like DJing and started going to clubs, blah blah blah. And at the same time, I was really more into like electronic music and started like DJing that music. So at that time was like, okay, DJing, blah blah blah, going to clubs, like playing like the mainstream music of that time, and listening to a lot of like electronic music. So I
Electronic music in Chile in those years. That's like interesting for me too. Was that like a thing? Was there a scene, or were you like kind of growing this scene?
yeah, I mean, this was like my first year of college, let's say college.
Mm.
Um, Um, one of my really good friend, we started like listening to psytrance. I remember that it was
Okay.
nice. Is psytrance? I don't know if you have heard about that music, but
I
basically
I kind of I know I got invited for to a festival. What is it in Cali?
music in the BPM. BPM is the beats per minute of a song. So it goes like really, really, really fast. You dance the music super fast as well, and super weird sounds like acid sounds, and of course trancey. Trance around that time, it was super. I mean, trance was super popular in the 90s and beginning of 2000s. Um, so psytrance was like psychedelic trance, basically. That's the
Mhm.
term. So I remember I was listening to that music a lot, and then it was like, okay, like with my friend, like let's. Was just like a friend. He was a DJ too, but we were not playing like together.
Like a colleague.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
And then we discovered this music that it's minimal. So minimal music is a huge, huge, huge music in Chile. And basically, it is huge because we have one of like the best, how do you say?
Artist?
Well, he's an artist, but how you say like exponente? Like
Great referent. A great.
word that I was looking. Yeah, he's a great reference. That is Ricardo Villalobos. He's one of like the best of the best on that minimal scene. And we really got into this music as well. And I started like to purchasing a lot of like minimal music, and we were sharing with my friend a lot of like this type of music. And at that time, this guy, my friend Santiago, he started like working at Club Suite. That's the name of the club. It's called
This
Club
is
Suite.
Santiago?
This is in Santiago. Dummy. This was the third floor of Sala Murano.
Okay.
I don't know if you
Okay,
never.
okay.
Murano.
I think I did. Now I'm confused when they changed the names and all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Sala Murano is this like huge club that was really popular because they had like different
La Murano. Vamos a la
yeah,
Murano.
at different Muranos in different cities. Basically, like people were going on vacations, they had Sala Murano. But anyway,
Mhm.
third floor
The-
of Sala Murano was this new place called Club Suite. Sorry,
Club Suite.
yeah, it was kind of like the promoter. Yeah, let's say he was like the promoter
Like
actually.
the party promoter, like
Yeah.
event promoter. Were you playing there?
So yeah, my first kind of like gigs that I really like play only electronic music, it was at this club. I was like 18 and I was just like playing minimal. But it was a minimal that is not the same as it is like what people call minimals nowadays.
Mhm.
It was more like I don't know how to describe it. It was super weird and like it was
I want to hear this.
it was I don't even remember like what kind of like artist I was playing at that time.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I started like playing that type of music and it was super nice. And then I kind of like felt in love of this thing that, oh, like I'm playing the music that I really like enjoying and it's only like this thing. And no one came to me saying like, hey, can you play this other type of music? That was kind of like the usually thing that happened when I was like DJing at like at birthday parties or weddings or whatever, that people just went to the DJ and said like, "Hey, can you play this song, please? Or can you play this other song?" So I kind of like felt in love of like, oh, no one is like really asking me of like playing music. People is just like enjoying what I'm playing, what I'm doing. So that
I
was like
love this feeling. I love this vision. It's like,
exactly.
yes, finally.
Thing that was like, oh, super nice. So of course at that time I started like playing more electronic music and I really got into like more like different type of like electronic musics like
Mhm.
house and tech house and it was like a time that I played a lot of like electronic music and then like I said I'm gonna try to do like a brief like a like short story. Um I started like DJing electronic music with other friends until I met my friend Alex Forero. That he This is the guy that we started this project and duo called Vives and Forero. That basically is our last names. And we started like
Was
playing.
there what why like again like teaming up? Was it like did you like the music this guy was playing, or were you
So
just like having it on the side?
well, the first thing is that we went to the same school, so of course I knew him. And secondly, when we really like became friends, or actually when I really like saw him again after we graduated from school, it was at this nice concert of this band called The Used, that I don't know if you know them.
Mhm.
Used? No? You know them? Well, it's
Not
this
by not by
emo
name, but maybe I do.
scream hardcore band, and I went to that concert, and I think I just no, I went with my brother Cristobal.
I love how you started that story like this very nice like show, like the use this screamo band.
Band, yeah. Well,
Casual
that's
Sunday church. Nah.
yeah. So at that time, I remember that he was there as well, and was like, "Oh, you're here," blah blah blah. We started like talking, and at that time, he was like started like DJing, and I was
Mm.
like when Alex told me this once, it's like, dude, like when I saw you and we just like became friends, I was your fan, you know? Like you were Fernando Vives, like the guy that is playing like on everywhere, like every party that I went, you were DJing. So like I was your fan. He said that. So we just like became friends like right away and went to like different concerts. Then we have like different like taste on music. So he started like DJing as well.
So were
Actually,
you his mentor then? Mentor to mentor.
kind of. We got into this like competition, uh,
Mm.
and there were like six finalists, and I won the contest. That was a super nice thing. But yeah, we kind of like we were like around the same thing. And there was like this a specific guy that he was organizing parties and he was a promoter that he started like calling us, me and Alex and actually another friend, and we started like playing together. Like me.
B2B kind of.
Exactly. And
Mm.
then like, oh dude, like this is super nice. And
Okay.
like I said, like this guy was calling us a lot. We were playing like electronic music, more mainstream, nothing like dubstep or like nothing like really like hard. I don't know.
Mm.
Um so we figured it out that it was like, oh dude, we're playing super nice together. And until this company or this like event planning
This
company,
management, these
yeah,
people.
they call us at Mysteryland. That Mysteryland is this like super nice
I went
Dutch
to one.
Dutch. Yeah, and actually, if you in fire, it was like Fernando Vives and Alex Forero. Um,
Oh, amigo, what year was this? I think I went like 2011, 2012.
I think it was 2012. Actually, yeah, yeah, you're
Yeah. That was my first ever like camp out festival.
nice.
So, amigo, so much momentum already happening, like with all this career you're built for yourself. I love how it came to be from like a very curious space, like I want to do this, and then like seeing how the audience was feeling, and then like, what about that first place you started playing minimal when you had that little like moment, like, freak yeah, this is like the music I like to play, and I'm playing this for other people, and they're enjoying it. Was that your first like residence club?
Uh, I don't.
Not really. No.
I mean, this was 14 years old. I mean, 14 years ago. Sorry. So I don't really
Oh,
remember how everything occurred at that time. I remember the first time that I played over there, and I remember that I was going to that place every time because I was really like enjoying the music. And they did a lot of like different events, and my friend was the promoter, so and he was a really good friend. So it was super nice, and I don't remember how many times I played over there, but it was super nice. And the other thing that, like I said, I mean, it's super important. I mean, and for musicians, I think they felt this as well. When you're
Mhm.
playing music and people is like listening to you of like what are you doing instead of like just like doing something else. That was the thing that happened to me before. I was playing music like kind of like for people to have fun and like dance between them when I
Mhm.
was like DJing like for like this mainstream stuff. I'm like a club DJ. So when I went to this other place and I prepared something that maybe I think nobody like knew the music that I was playing, and I don't want to be like, oh, like your song or your music was so like underground. No, no, no. It's because people over there just want to dance like electronic music. So that's like the beautiful thing about like playing music in this type of event, sorry, because people is like, okay, like what is this guy is gonna play for me like tonight? And if I like it, I'm gonna stay there dancing. And if I don't like it, I'm just gonna leave the place, you know? That's kind of like the rule on this electronics event.
I
So
love
for me,
it.
it's like super nice to like to felt that, oh, like damn, like the people is like dancing to this and I really enjoying like this like moment of like playing this type of music that I liked all of the tracks because before I don't really liked all of the tracks. Like there's a few reggaetons or like music that I was like, this is like not bullshit, but it's like music that people
Not my
love
preference.
really like, but I know that if I play this song, it's gonna be like, okay, this is it's gonna work on this. So now I'm just gonna play music that I like, music that I like. I found like on Beatport.
Does that still apply till today?
Oh yeah.
Like music, not just like you don't focus like, oh, I'm gonna build a set for. I imagine yes, you know, because we were talking before about the different moods, of course. Like I'm
Yeah.
gonna do this playlist for Mystery Land or
So what I learned at the beginning of my career is that because there's a I mean DJs they say different things. DJs they say that you should play music like for yourself and people like should like what are you like what are you playing? For me, my school, like my background was like playing the music that people wants to hear. So I kind of like I do this balance of like, okay, I'm gonna play what people wants to hear and wants to dance, but at the same time it's gonna be my style, you know?
Mm,
I'm not gonna play like the top 40 or like the song that is the more mainstream song right now on like the house or electronic or techno whatever. I'm gonna play music that I know that people is gonna love, but at the same time it's music that I like found like over the years, you
yeah.
know. I try to do that balance between like what people wants to hear and at the same time what I like to hear at the same time.
I feel as an audience, as your fan, for example, I feel that's so important that you choose like your music. Because if I'm just like, I'm your friend, but if there's like, if I only know Fernando Vives through his music, you know, through what like you're putting out there, like I hope that like it resembles you or you like it. Or besides, if you like it or not, that's the impression I'm having of you. Like that's what you're putting out there. That's what you're sharing. I wonder if that's important because before you were talking about how you were like getting all this momentum in Santiago and like the clubs and the getting known and being called and getting like the big stages and everything. Now you decided to move to San Francisco. I know
Mhm.
your siblings are like close by. How do you get resident in a like club in a scene that maybe you're not well known yet, and are you like showing your sets, are you showing getting like connecting it with we were just talking about like choosing the music you like you're what are you putting to this, are you managing, are you contacting managers, like how's that whole synchronicity going on?
Yeah, I mean, one of the first things, I mean, is that I was just being myself. And what I'm trying to say is that when you know people and you start like talking with people and chatting with like, oh, who you are, like, what are you doing? And people's like, oh, like, really? You started DJing when you were 12 years and you're now 30 years and you're still doing it? It's like, yeah. So people at that time, they realize it's like, oh, this is not like a kid that he just like started DJing like 3 years ago and he likes to play music and he's gonna fill feel like a rock star or whatever, it's like people already like notice like who I am, because like I said, I'm just gonna be like, hey, this is me, this is what I do. I've been doing this like for a long time. I came from like a music family, so like promoters or like owners, they're gonna like say like, oh, like this is like a true guy, this is just the guy that really and has a passion for this art called DJing. And specifically on this club, I met the owner just because I started going to that specific place a lot of times.
To
And
like
I,
listen to music.
exactly, because I really love that place, and like we just like started like chatting and became friends, and he like I think we just like DJ'd once in like this after party or whatever, and he liked like my music and he liked me, and he said one day like, hey, would you like to play one day? And I was like, yeah, for sure.
Fuck yeah. I mean, I love it. I get excited about this little like synchronicities and just like things. Probably you were not like, I mean, I am very good at networking too. So I understand the value of like what you were just saying, like getting the scene and like start being like, share yourself, be yourself, put yourself out there.
Super hard to be a musician or an artist or whatever, even like a businessman, whatever, any kind of
Mhm.
like thing in this world. It's super hard to do it without like going out and showing you, because we're real persons nowadays. There's like internet, there's like everything happens so fast that you think like just because you have like 10K followers, you can send this message to whatever and they're gonna like hire you. No, it's like people really want to see who you are. Like, okay, like what kind of vibe do you have? And I'm just like a super chill guy that I've been doing this for like a lot of time, that I really
Mm.
love this. And you can notice like at the moment that you're gonna like meet me, you're gonna say like, oh, like this guy is like he knows what he's doing, you know?
Like
And
like some like a some like you shine your experience kind of.
yeah,
Mhm.
but I'm not gonna say like, yeah, I play like a Lollapalooza, I play this blah 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 festival. That's something actually to me that I hate. I hate like saying
Don't do that.
I never say that until like I get like really into this guy and have like more trust.
Mm.
And then like I can say like, yeah, like once I played at this like really like big shows.
Like
And
I
it's
have
like
experience with big crowds. You can say like you're making like a point.
exactly.
Mhm.
Um, but I
Um,
mean those things just like another step of like this huge career that I don't know when I'm gonna stop doing it. But for me, it's just
Can I ask you then? We are not gonna know. We do not know where we're going. But do you know what's your next step, like career wise? What are you focused on right now? What's your next step, Fernando?
it's a thing that I'm always like asking myself,
Mm-hmm.
like so what's the next step? Because for me, DJing is a beautiful thing. I love it.
It's
I
magical.
love to be like this doctor or like this person that can play this music and like you can be in this
Healer,
therapy. But at this healer, yeah, exactly. But
this
at
magician.
DJing, it's always happening like over the night, and the night is like it could be super dark as well, and it can have like a lot of like addictions, and it can have drugs and stuff that I don't really want to promote that, promote that. I don't want to be like the guy that,
To
hey,
expand it.
and take drugs and get really fucked up or whatever. For me, it's like, no, I'm doing this because of I love music and I love like to dance, to move. So there's a time that of course I'm tired of that, because I've been doing this and going out since I was 12. So it's
I haven't stopped partying since I'm 12.
really so I'm always like asking like, okay, what's my next step? And
What is it?
I want to still like DJing, but at the same time I want to like do something different. Like, and one thing is like having like my own events and doing like my own stuff. Now I have like this project with my brothers that we're playing music together, and
The
that's different.
Vros.
It doesn't always needs to be like during the night. It could be like in a festival or day thing. Um, and for sure, like in the future, I really want to have like my own studio slash academy slash like place for like be creative.
SF or SCH?
What?
SF or CH Chile?
See, what do you mean?
For like when you, because I know, and thank you for being like a dual nationality artist. Like, where are we from? Like, are we there? Are we here? And I have a school too, a performing school, STEMU, for musical theater. It's like, where do you see yourself? Like, you talked about this academy. Is that in SF or is it in Chile, or like not? Maybe not.
I think I haven't choose the correct place
Mm.
uh so far. Um I
Amigo,
just
I want to cut you because I want to. You were just talking about like you said doing something else. And I want to learn a bit more about Fernando Vives. I know we talk like a lot about career and like how you grew into music and all these things, but I want to know like what are you curious about? Like what else you curious? I know you mentioned the meditation in your YouTube before, but what are things besides music do you like? What do you like researching, like reading about, learning more about?
like, well, yeah, I like to read. I like to know about the mind and how the mind works because at the same time, yeah, I did make my music, I perform, I have shows, but I really love to teach. I really love to help other musicians or artists, whatever. And one of like the first problems that other musicians they have is like problems with like confidence. So confidence at the same time is gonna
Yes.
to be like your mind, like how your mind is working. So I really like to know, and I'm always trying to learn, and this is like a thing that I do, like to learn how you can have a better control of your mind and be more confident in yourself.
Like
So
how
that's
to master the mind. Are you reading any book, or is there like any like that book like that you always recommend?
um
Or it can be podcast, maybe anything.
no. The thing is that I'm trying to remember the name of the book in English
Okay, yeah.
because I it was in Spanish that I got it, but it's El Camino
¿Cómo
de
es en
la
España?
The
El
Artist, I
camino.
think it's called in English. The
Ah, the artist path.
Yeah, I think that's the name in English.
There's two like very similar ones. So there was like the artist way that is from a female writer.
Female writer, yeah.
Yeah, I think my friends were reading that one. Okay, the artist way.
The Artist Way, yeah.
I'm gonna read that for sure. It's been
That's
floating
a
around me for a while.
super, super nice, really good book that I suggest to all of the artists because it gives you like exercises and again, it's like trusting yourself and how you can be a better artist, sorry, at the end.
What
I
is
mean, it's
mhm.
just like being a better like human being, a better soul.
What is a we were talking about like mastering the mind. What is a mental health, like a tip, a tool, something that you use, like that you have in your mental
Yeah,
toolbox?
the one that it's the best for me is going to be meditation. I learned how
Mhm.
to meditate when I went to like this music program back in Los Angeles. They taught me how to like meditation is super nice to make music because basically you're just gonna calm your mind. And your mind is the first thing that is gonna start like saying you like, no, I don't like this. No, this sounds so shitty. No, you should not do this. So that's why I always suggest
The
meditation because
doubt in the doubt in the mind.
things are gonna get out. So meditation is gonna be my first thing. Um, I don't know why people like when you talk about meditation, they think like, oh, this thing that you need to like settle down and to be seated and like Buddha and like candles and blah blah blah. And for me, it's like meditation. You can do meditation like whenever you want. Meditation is like in different things as well. It can be like painting or like drawing or like writing or just going into the beach and like watch like the ocean, listen to music. There's so many different ways to meditate and like relax your mind. And the other one for me that is my favorite is like running. I love
Running.
it's my best like meditation and and it's so good for yourself because I mean a lot of people like exercise, and I think they know that it
Mm.
makes you like feel
Yeah,
so good. So for
the
me it's
endorphins, dude.
yeah, or hiking as well, going out to nature.
Interesting. I love that you mentioned this, especially since you're a DJ and you were talking about like the nightlife and drugs and like all these things and the importance of meditating, working out for you, running and like hiking. They're in my list every week to accomplish those things. I totally understand. We're talking a little bit of meditation, like the spiritual parts, like in your music. You talk about moving people's souls with your music. I wanted to ask you. You do a lot this symbol in your pictures. Is that correct? Is that how you do it? I wanted to know what is that? What does it mean for you today, or how did it start? It.
Well, I know it's a mudra. I think that's the what they
Uh-huh, mudra, yes. Like,
but basically it was well, so people as well ask me why Nundu. What's
yeah,
what
why Nundo?
So it basically it came because when I went to school in LA, my friends started like to calling me like Fernando, Fernundu, Nundu. And I was
What?
oh, Nundu. And actually at the beginning it was for Nundu. So it doesn't really have like any meaning. It's just my name. It's just like this is me.
Like,
And
how was you say apodo in English?
what?
Like, un apodo,
Yeah, like a nickname.
like a nickname.
Yeah. So, and I really like that because at my school as well, we talk about like what kind of like name should I have for like my artist name. And in the path, in the past, sorry, of like my career, I was always like with different names. At the beginning with Jorge, we were called DJ Nasby. That basically is our two last names, just like together anyway. And then when I like started like DJing with just like by myself, I was Fernando V.
Mhm.
But it just like lasts for 2 years because then I started DJing with my friend Alex, and we're called Vives and Forero.
Vives and Forero.
Trying to say is like for me, Nundu is just like, oh, this is me. Like you're gonna listen. This is me basically. I'm not like being another person. I'm not gonna be someone else. You're just gonna like listen, and you're gonna like
Right.
presence Fernando, who is Fernando Vives, basically. So that's why I
Who
like
is
do, yeah. So yeah, like I said, it was Fornundo at the beginning because it came from like for Fernando, and then I just
from
like
like Gringolandia?
there was like this Spanglish. So then yeah, Nundu. I really like Nundu. It's super easy. It's not a complicated name. It's easy to remember.
I
And then
love it.
Nundu has three O's, right?
Yes. What does
So
that
then
mean?
O's, one, two, three. So three O's.
Ah, so it's not like this. It's like this. You gotta see the three.
Yeah.
Aha. Oh, I love it. I learned. It was like,
It's
is
basically
that?
that. It doesn't have like a deeper meaningful or
Mhm.
it's just oh this comes from blah blah blah. No, it's just that. And I don't know. I always liked it to do like this thing when I was
Like silly.
as a kid.
But this is like the cool way. Yeah. Amigo, what was the school you went to in LA? I love like the meditation, all of this.
When? Or what?
What was the name of that one?
Oh, the school is called Icon Collective.
Icon Collective. Okay,
Yeah,
amazing. Did you
yeah,
like the program there?
a lot.
Okay.
It changed my mind. I mean, I created like Undu. I realized that I should start like DJing and producing music just by myself again, because at that time I was DJing with my friend Alex, and just like different things happened at that time. So kind of like again, it was like the same situation with my friend Jorge. I told him like, dude, I think I just like want to keep my own path and just like believe
It's
in
like
myself.
breaking up feels
Hmm.
feels like breaking up.
It was a with Alex. It was a super hard conversation it was not easy at all because we were doing super good,
Mm.
and it was not because I didn't like him, or it was not because like he was like not doing like something that I wanted to, or he did something wrong. No, it was just because like, dude, I want to like live in the US, living in Chile. We cannot do this like project together because we're not together. I don't want to go
Mm.
back to Chile, and you cannot go to the US. So I just want to like keep my own path. And
I
actually,
love that.
the thing that helped me, and I realized that I wanted to do that, was meditation, because we had this and I always like to do this with my students as well. It's like we had this homework or like thing that it was like the teacher said like, okay guys, you're gonna meditate for like at least 10 minutes, and after that go right away and write music and create music.
I love this, dude. Fernando,
And
I hadn't hear this part of your studies. Like, I love that you're telling me this because I'm doing something right in STEMU, the musical theater, when I'm teaching, or when I'm teaching voice to people, it's like do some stretch, probably like meditate, open your body, and sing because
yeah,
it's the not delta yet, it's the theta brain waves that we want for this. You know what I'm talking about?
yeah, you connect with yourself like 100%. And it's like, so what I did is that when I went to this school, they had a lot of like studios that you can book. So I booked one studio, I booked like this really nice one, and I had I so let me pause this, because
Mm.
in school they taught me about meditation, but at that same time that they started like talking about meditation, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday they had like this. Of course, it was like a free meditation at the school. So I started going a lot of time, and I really like love it. And I went through like my entire like program. I went to this free meditation at the school, and I started like I became friend of like the teacher that was like doing the meditations. So he taught me a lot about like the music, where I could like get the music, blah blah blah. So okay, I booked the studio. I went on YouTube, or maybe I used like this app that I don't remember the name right now. That it was super nice because you started like putting like your own like sounds of like rain or like nature, so you can do like your
Mm.
own mix
Do
of
your
like,
own music
yeah, yeah.
meditation.
Yeah, and I think, I don't know, I meditate like for 15 minutes, I don't remember, and that's not really important. And then I went like strictly like direct. I was already in the studio, so I went to like Ableton and I started making music. And the funny thing is that this program is really well known as kind of like a dubstep or like more EDM school,
Mhm.
like really, really nice and huge artists that nowadays they
The
like
Icon Collective School. Mhm.
went on Collective, and nobody really was like doing house music, just like a few of them. Or we're just like, yeah, I will say like a 10% were like doing house music or different than dubstep, let's say that.
Mm.
So I started like making music, and I did this like 22 minutes of house music track.
22 minutes, man. Were you still like resonating with the minimal material you were working in your
Yeah, yeah,
beginnings?
a lot, a lot. I
Interesting. Would
mean,
you do you still drag it? Do you still bring it till
yeah,
today, like in your sets?
about minimal music is that you don't really know what is going to happen next.
Mm.
There's like no expectation. You don't. There's no like anticipations with music. Yeah, like music, like house or tech house or whatever. They have a lot of like build-ups and like the
Mhm.
snare rolls and like the synthesizers that you already know that the drop it's coming. Like about all, like you don't really know. You're like kind of like dancing to this uh really simple groove, and it's gonna make you dance. And again, like mostly like electronic music is about the groove. Groove came from like percussions, drums, and it's like the thing that I started like playing at when I was 4 years old. So I really love and enjoy that thing about minimal, like how simple something can make you body or soul.
Shake your body. How powerful these beats are to shake the body. I
Yeah.
mean,
And
I
the
love
thing
it.
you mentioned, like I say 22 minutes, and it doesn't mean that the 22 minutes is like amazing, but I mentioned that about the 22 minutes because I realized that with house music or this electronic music and specifically house or minimal, whatever, you can do a lot of improvisation and you can play a lot of different things. With dubstep, it's impossible. Dubstep or like EDM or that type of music, for me, it's about sound design. Is how crazy you can create this sound. But you can now like play like a beat and start like do like an improvisation. I'm not saying that it's impossible. I'm not saying that you cannot. I think everything is possible in this.
Challenge accepted.
I mean, there's a guy like, nah,
But
but
wait.
it
So
really
I like
like like I can do this like really fast drum pattern and then just like in top like start like playing a bass and like playing the keys, and I was playing a lot of like the keys at that time because they were teaching me how to play the keys, so I have to study a lot of like chords and blah blah blah. So I did this like 22 minutes track that I was basically like jamming in top of like this really nice like groove. So for me, that was like, okay, dubstep, adios.
Besis. See ya
Yeah.
never. Me encanta. I love this. Okay, so the house music. So you were bringing this house music to the scene. We're gonna say like the school scene. Is that something you were bringing from Chile, or is this something that was in the scene there, like in LA?
No,
Oh,
well, that was that homework, and specifically that I realized, like, oh my God, like I'm really like by myself in this studio after like this 15 minutes meditation, and I didn't create dubstep. So I didn't create like hip hop. I didn't like make like a drum and bass or song or whatever. I just like create this house track. So for me, it was like this is the thing that I need to start doing because it's like completely like me. No thoughts,
no preconception.
exactly.
Mm,
Uh, and all
authenticity.
homeworks because we had a lot of homeworks every week. It was a really tough program. Sometimes maybe I did like this like weird dubstep stuff like that, but mostly as well was like house music. So it was not that I was like bringing like this house vibes to the classroom. No,
And
there was
innovating.
doing like yeah, similar stuff.
Oh, yeah, I love it. Okay, so we connect to meditation. I love the little details you said. Like I got this studio. I got this very nice studio. It was like something.
It
It
was
sparked joy.
yeah.
Super nice, super nice. I'm assuming like you come here like I'm gonna do something without preconceptions,
Mhm.
correct? I sit to meditate, and this 22 minute long track comes out, and it's house music. Uh, is it still house music when you sit to meditate nowadays?
Good question. I haven't done that exercise again. Or maybe
Challenge. Ah.
or maybe yes. I mean, I tried to meditate every day and
Mm.
every night. Sometimes it's super hard and
Every
impossible.
night. What is a night for a DJ?
All that thing. But yeah, when I'm not deep,
Before or after?
I'm like doing like my regular like I still
Routine. Mhm.
routine. Yeah, I love to meditate like at the beginning and at the end of the day. Is for me it's my best medicine. You feel so
Um,
connected to yourself. But
Amigo,
for me,
we've been like for so long, so I want to like honor your time too. Um, I wanted to finish what you were just saying, and I want to go for like a few like fast questions so we can do like a little like stream of like
but
what were you
yeah,
saying?
for me nowadays, it's again, it's what I do is try to make people move, dance. If the song that I'm doing, that I'm like just like creating at that time is not making me move, I will just go to the next one, or maybe I need to realize what is like not making me move or blah blah blah. um since I'm like I've been like going back and forth to
Mhm.
Chile and the US. Of course, when I moved to San Francisco, that was 2 years ago, I didn't have like anything in my studio. It was just like me and my laptop. So what I really like to do when I'm making music is to have like my own gear, like my hardware, sorry, and like moving knobs and like creating stuff with my hands, not just like with the laptop. I like to use my hands and fingers in order to make
Okay,
music.
like that detail. Is it
Yeah.
this like while I know probably Rose plays that live, do you do like decent DJ sets, or is it like let's say a habit that you have you with yourself at your personal studio?
No, yeah. So yeah. So the thing is that now at my studio, I've of course I have more stuff, and I have like drum machines and synthesizers and a keyboard. So I like to, like I said, kind of like the same thing that I had in that homework. I started like making a beat, and then in top of that beat, I started like jamming, and I create a bass, and maybe I just like gonna start creating like a melody, and I just like start jamming. For me, that's the beauty of music, to create something in that present, and that's gonna be the track. And nowadays you can notice like right away when the songs are exactly the same structures, the same like patterns, A B C. And for me it's like,
Algorithm. ChatGPT told me.
and sadly it works. Sadly it works, but for
Yeah.
me I'm trying to just like, it works for them, that's totally fine. I'm not gonna say that I have the best like ideas, or I'm the best producer. No, but I'm happy, and I'm the best with myself because I'm believing in myself, and I'm doing the things that I like for myself. That's for me. That's the result.
I love all these little things you were saying. I guess, Fernando, everything goes down to jamming.
Everything that real.
For
It's
real.
it's the thing is that more than jamming or improvisation, for me, that's really when you connect with yourself.
That's
Because when
case.
you're jamming and you're really like good at jamming, you're not really thinking of like, oh, should I do this or should I not doing that? You're just like flowing with that moment.
And
And
that moment
yeah,
when
you're
you're
flowing.
like,
Man. If you're jamming in over like, I don't know, like in Italy, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be different if you're going to another place. It's gonna be like the vibe, but that's why it's gonna depend on what mood and moment or like a specific place you are. But yeah, for sure, improvisation or jazz is the thing.
amigo, I have so many, like we talked about this and like like it opens like a whole like different chapter like of questions I want to talk to you. I did have a few questions that were about health and well-being. And since like we're connecting all this like this meditation and using meditation for creation, would you like to try this like little faster answers? Like kind of come get it. Like for example,
Can I
Fernando,
drink a?
what's please, let's water. 5, 6. No, it's not a competition. It's who's the fastest? And action. No, Fernando, what's your current mantra? Something you say to yourself daily.
Everything is fine.
What would you tell your younger self while on this process of building your artistic career?
Ooh. um, don't give up.
What's the biggest, Fernando, limiting belief you've had to let go to be where you are today?
Oof.
What's the biggest limiting belief you've had to let go to be where you are today?
Um, wow, that's a good question. I will say that again, it's gonna be like believe more in myself. Sometimes it's I think that I'm not made to do this. I didn't like came to this world to make music or play music. So it's kind of like no, I need to trust more in that.
Okay. What's something that you do for your health or well-being you wouldn't trade for any success?
Running.
Oh, interesting. I thought you were going to say meditation. Running. What was,
Oh.
can you repeat that?
Because it's the thing, running for me, it's meditation as well. It's
It
really need
is.
to focus on your breath all the time.
Mm.
Yeah.
What was your why to doing music then when you were starting?
What was my what, sorry?
Your why, your reason, tu
Uh,
razón de hacer música.
yeah. Just to like create music. Like I said, I mean, I didn't have the chance to create my own band, so this was kind of like my band, make well, playing music
Okay.
without
What
an
is, uh-huh.
without an
Fernando,
instrument.
Fernando, what is your why to keep doing music today?
It's just like makes me feel so happy, makes me feel so connected with myself. Basically that. It connects with myself.
Do you love what you do?
I do.
What Fernando, what are your least favorite things or aspects of life?
In general,
Yeah. What are like sucks?
the thing that sucks,
Something
hang
that you don't.
hangovers.
Hangovers. Okay. Fernando, what is your favorite aspect of life?
Oh, that we live in such a huge world and like meet different people from around the world, different cultures, and we're not alone.
We're not alone. I love it. Amigo, that's a great answer. It's been such a deepening into your world. I love like all the little fruits, juicy nuggets I got from like getting to know you better through this interview. I had heard some of those like stories, but I love the new details. Can you please tell us what are your socials, your links, where music platforms can we hear you in?
Yeah, so it's basically my artist name that it's Nundu,
Mhm.
Noondo, and then you just add music, so Nundu Music, and you can search that on any platform, and you're
We
gonna.
are gonna link them down below for everyone to go and like and share. What are any live dates? You were talking about there's a tour going on. Do you have any live dates?
Yeah, yeah. So I'm on tour right now. Unfortunately, I was supposed to be in Ecuador this week, but last minute call, they
But
canceled
the
it.
universe was like something different.
Yeah, yeah, and Ecuador is kind of like dangerous right now, so it was for the best. So I'm in Chile right now, so I'm playing here in Chile. Next week I'm going to Peru and then back to Chile because that was supposed
If
to
I
be.
wanna learn about like the shows and buy the tickets, what's the best place to find that information?
On Instagram. I'm always like sharing like the parties and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm always like sharing all the information, and if like people wants to reach me out, they can send me a message. I'm always like answering the message. I'm not that
Mhm. Even for
famous.
business inquiries? What's the best place for business inquiries?
Yeah, it's gonna be my email. That's
Mhm.
Fernando at Vives. That's my last name, so that's Vives music.com. So that's my email. So again, Fernando at vivesmusic.com.
We're gonna link it down below. And amigo, I have one more question. What is a way that we can support your mission?
Um, I will say just like follow me on like the social media and just like listening to my music and just like enjoying the things and the music that I'm doing, basically. And of course, it's not supposed to like to everyone in this world, but if like people listening to this podcast or show, interview, whatever, I think like now they can understand what is like my music about. And if it's not making you dance or moving, it's because maybe you're not in that mood.
Oh my God. I got a little compliment for that, because that is the mission here, amigo, to like get to know unique artists. Is there any final message you would like to give to this community of artistic souls or whoever is listening?
Yeah, just don't forget about collaboration. Collaborate with different artists is super important. Because when you're not unique, I mean, everyone is like different at the same time, we're equals. But for me, collaboration is the most important thing, and I think we're lacking in collaboration between artists. And I mean that it could be like a super famous guy with a guy that is not really famous or well known, everything. And not the same with music. It could be like someone that is like with visuals, someone that can be like artists. Just like artists, they need to collaborate more. That's what I like to say.
That's the wish for the universe. It's listening. So more collaboration.
Yeah,
Amigo, thank you. Thank you so much for your valuable time, for your presence, for your energy, not for everything that we talked here. Like, it resonates deeply with my soul and with my artistic paths, because like you said, like there's a variety of colors and diversities, and I really feel related to like all the things that you said and your path and what you put forward, from smiling, just like being a cool human, and meditating, and like touching people's soul and understanding the powers of the mind, and that music is healing. And that I like the phrase you said, that it's not about you, it's about the music. And that I feel you, man. Yes, thank you very much. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. Please like, leave your questions, thoughts, comments down below. And if you like this content, subscribe and all that shabamba. And we will see you in another episode of Artist Interview here at Mundo.